one. These are two teams who have just had a Game 5 overtime. Vitality winning theirs against Endpoint, but Top Blokes losing theirs versus Team Liquid. So differing favors so far going into this point of proceedings. But I'm going to go with Vitality and agree with the desk. How about you, Achieves?
Yep, I also lean closer to Vitality than Top Blokes, but always room for upsets, and especially today, considering how some of the games we've already seen have gone. And starting off pretty neutral, nobody really able to put anything together, but as soon as I say that, Cassio rips one off the bar, and Flame's gonna follow it up into the left-hand side. Oh, why did I say anything?
Well, to be fair, it's one of the rare occasions where the Vitality goal line defense isn't quite perfect. When Flame's shot was a little bit weak, I thought for a second that one of them would have been able to get back, but it wasn't quite to be. And via Flame, it is an early Top Blokes lead. And I think that's going to be important to them because Vitality, they're hurting. You know, they finished 9th to 12th in the last regional. They lost to Solary. It's a win that we would have expected them to get. And as ever, whenever Vitality have a poor regional, they have to follow it up with something good. So they're here to take some scalps this time.
Ooh, and looking to do just that. Alpha 54 pops one up into the right side, and pressure from Vitality definitely trying to build themselves up. Pop to K-Dop, and how about into the right-hand side? Easy peasy.
Yeah, it makes sense. Alpha 54 getting as involved as possible after Fairy Peak's mid-air 50-50 using the Batmobile, which I'm always a huge fan of. And then look at the speed of Alpha to set up K-Dop there. It's your classic Vitality goal, an early equalizer.
Good start for Vitality. And quick equalizer as well, equally as important for them, I think, because you made a good point. It is about the scalps, right? You're here to send a message and say, don't forget about us. And if you start off with Top Blokes coming out and pushing you around, not a good look for them.
Yeah, and winning the group of death as it's been cool for Vitality would be a huge statement of intent for them as they come forward via K-Dop. He finds Fairy Peak with his Batmobile onto the backboard again. This time they got their first goal with K-Dop arriving at that near post. This one a little bit less luck, though. They will be able to go again. Alpha 54 was going for Cassio there with his delayed dodge. Incredibly smart, but Cassio manages to worm his way out of it until Archie sends along towards K-Dop in defense.
A little bit of a weird hiccup in Vitality's rotation somewhere along in that midfield line. Ended up giving more space than I think they would like to normally, and having to fight out of their own half pass to Archie, and just off the nose. Could have been pretty, but a lot of defenders were in the net. No way to know if they would have ever actually scored it. Fairy Peak patient on the goal line, able to finagle a challenge away and get it into the corner for Alpha.
Yeah, the pass earlier on, though, was Cassio at his best. Such a neat little tap towards Archie. He is such a good player, and we've seen him really come to the fore in RLCS Season 8. We'd be expecting him to score those as the series goes on. But Fairy Peak bulldozing his way through. If anybody asks why use the Batmobile, that is why.
It's a wherewithal. K-Dop wins the race, and that short hop just destroyed Cassio. He instantly was like, well, gotta defend the top of the net, and he realized too late Fairy Peak was just getting him to show his hand, and well played, Fairy Peak, to you, sir.
One of the 1v1 GOATs is Fairy Peak, and that's an example why. But Alpha's not bad either, faking out Cassio and then just about getting it towards the post. Flame is ever so grateful to be able to get this one away, even if he has no boost. He actually gets the ball pretty far. Now Archie into the center, but Flame, has he picked something up? I don't think he has, because he's rotating back instead, which allows Vitality in. With a double tap in the corner. K-Dop's arriving, and it's Vitality with the early pressure.
Didn't catch him out there, though. Fairy Peak really is in charge of buying a lot of time here in the midfield, and so much for good that does him, as Flame would win, and Cassio as well. Some important follow-up challenges to stick this ball on the orange half. Good chance for Top Blokes to get back in, and Cassio forestalls the boost to try and force the issue, and now they're in a scramble back.
Yes, a couple of times where Cassio has just been a few inches further back than he wanted to be. Gonna have to do some defending now, though, because Fairy Peak gets another good touch. K-Dop's arriving, but that's really good speed from Flame. We'd love to get a decent challenge against Alpha, and he achieves that. Archie's slowing things down, so a good turnaround from Top Blokes after it looked like Vitality were on course for their third goal, but they do need this equalizer.
A lot of space as well. Again, for Vitality, it's so surprising to me to see them really not locked down and forcing the contest at the midfield line, but who cares? You don't have to, I guess. They come from their own half, win one challenge, and K-Dop gets a free goal.
Yeah, K-Dop playing goal poacher again. Fairy Peak just faked out Cassio. That is so hard for Cassio. Whichever angle he goes for, Fairy Peak can force the next. And it is at that near post. It seems to be a danger zone for Top Blokes. K-Dop makes it look easy.
comfortable lead now, you'd say, for Vitality. Yeah. Only 2 goals, but 90 seconds, and they really haven't faced too much threat from top Blokes. There's been the occasional decent push with an okay look, but nothing that's really made Vitality squirm on defense so far.
Yeah, not at all. And it's a matchup that Vitality normally win as well. They've won the last 4 series between these 2 teams in all competitions. Last time top Blokes beat Renner Vitality, the full Grid 4 playoffs.
Oh,
I'm reliably informed. So a long, long time ago. That's what they're trying to turn around. But of course, they have done well recently, at least in the previous regional, beating BDS, knocking them down a perch or 2. So can they do the same against Vitality? Looking increasingly unlikely in this game. They're going to have to slow things down all over again. Cassio can't even land on that boost. He's a little bit starved as he comes in. Flame has to read this one well to beat Fairy Peak. He manages it. But Alpha just keeps the pressure on so well. Alpha is getting so many touches in that top Blokes half.
It's that smart back pass as well to just stay in position. And Fairy Peak, good improvisation here, expecting something a little different. And look at these extra touches. It's the extra opportunities to play a little ping pong with the post. And that should stall plenty of time. Now Vitality is absolutely running the show at the midfield line.
Yeah, looking like they're seeing this first game away in style. Even with no boost, Fairy Peak is able to swallow up so many seconds. He might even get the challenge here against Flame. Will it lead to a goal? It's not going to. It won't make any difference at all, though. Game 1 firmly belongs to Team Vitality, and they are playing as we expected, like a crew who have a point to prove.
And point proven there in that last 30, maybe 45 seconds. It really was kind of just keep it away from top Blokes and dish the ball back into the midfield line so you can reset the cycle. That was excellent control from Vitality. And really, I don't think either team actually needs to change too much, to be honest. I kind of liked how top Blokes were playing. It's just you want to see some of those challenges start to go their way and things will neutralize a little bit more.
Yeah,
I mean, sure, that last 35, 45 seconds was good for Vitality, but they already had the lead at that point, so.
It's control versus control, really. Top Blokes always at their best when they have as much midfield boost as possible, as much of the ball as they can possibly get. But Team Vitality, I'd say they're a little bit more capable of mixing up the play when they need. I remember around Christmas time, they really embraced this chaotic play style where every game they were involved in seemed to have 7 or 8 goals. And they've slowed down a little bit in this regional. The games that they've had have been a little bit more passive, a little bit slower. But it's looking like against top Blokes, they're going to really want to turn on that squeeze and apply that pressure. And I fully approve of that from Vitality.
I'm keeping an eye on KDOP as well. That bright fire truck red car of his as a spike attempt misses for top Blokes. And really, it could have started off pretty much the exact same way that game 1 did with an early goal, but unfortunately for them, not able to connect on it. And I think KDOP as well is looking just a little bit quicker when they get themselves onto the offense. And I kind of want to keep an eye on that going forward in this series.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that KDOP has been a player that's been up and down all season for Vitality. 1 minute, he's looking like their fastest player and most consistent. The next, it's seeming like he's a little bit off the pace, but in that fire truck red,
I could just be fall into the color theory.
It might be. It may be that you've seen that and your head's been turned because the defending wasn't so hot there from the man in the red truck.
Yeah, he's trying to lead Alpha to the boost in the corner and just doesn't have the touch that he really needs to get it out to safety. It's capitalized on by one challenge in top Blokes, and the follow-through from Flame placed well onto the left side. And again, out in front early for top Blokes. Can you hang on to it this time?
Well, the goal came in almost exactly the same second as the first goal came in game number 1 as well. Game 1, it was 4:14, they took the lead. And this one, 4:15. So it seems that 4 minutes and 16 seconds or so is when they'll score in the next game.
Ooh. Nice adjustment from Fairy Peak there. Alpha as well, trying to jam one above the net and force a lot of boost out. KDOP rips it back post and well placed.
That was like a goal from season 4 or season 5. KDOP over there just slamming the ball home past hapless defenses from one side of the goal to the other. That is a classic KDOP goal if ever I've seen one.
Did you see Archie jump towards that near post? He was like, oh no! And then you just saw it go behind him. It's like, oh no.
One of the best finishes we've ever seen in the game is KDOP there, and that's showing us why. Can he get another easy one? Cassio should be able to save this one and gets a decent clearance as well. But Alpha's coming again. Vitality are really warming up at this point. Flame can clear it long, but he's got no top Blokes players attacking the ball, and they just know it's going to come straight back at them. Ceiling passes galore. So much pressure now for Vitality. Whenever the top Blokes players try and slow the ball, they are being swamped by Vitality.
And it's Vitality keeping that ball high in the air as well, forcing Top Blokes to use so much of that boost. And Cassio's only opportunity here is to try and fake it. Archie was playing the challenge all the way. 1v1 for Fairy Peak on Flame. And look at Flame. He actually did such a great job. He didn't give Fairy Peak the space to set up the dribble, but who cares? Because they missed the follow-up challenge in the corner. And Alpha sets up K-Dop.
Yeah, but look at K-Dop. He's sniffing around. He's waiting. He's reading these mistakes from Archie. Gambling on the fact that the defense might not be absolutely perfect, that maybe Top Blokes just seems to be a little bit shaken at the moment. You know, having just lost that game that series, should I say, against Team Liquid. This is the Top Blokes potentially on the ropes. And when Vitality smell blood, they punish you.
Ooh, and trying to do just that. Fairy Peak was trying to jam one right through Flame on the goal line. And Top Blokes really need to find a way to start hanging onto that ball. I like the long clear to clear the space, but where it really matters is what comes after that. And someone's got to step up or trap the ball somewhere and force possession. Thank you, Cassio. You heard me.
Yeah, that was so much better. They need runners to Top Blokes. They need players moving on the sides, trying to read these booming clears, which seem to be the most effective approach against this Vitality squeeze. But every time they do go long, it's just Vitality that comes straight back at them. But as I've been saying, that Top Blokes have built themselves up a little bit of much-needed pressure.
Yeah, it's a pretty good look right here. And, also going to force Vitality to do a little stutter step on the backboard and take away some momentum. But it's Alpha 54, Transition King. Cannot stop that man's air dribbles.
How frustrating. Just when you manage to get yourself a few chances, you're starting to boost off the opposition. Somehow Alpha 54 has picked up a canister, and you just know he's getting all the way back to your half with that ball intact.
So frustrating to play against that guy, because it doesn't make a difference if it doesn't mean anything, and he's winning another challenge. You just got to stick it on the nose. It's like nothing much is going to come from this, but we've broken out, and now you got to re-earn possession, and that's what's so frustrating. Pop towards the net, Archie in time to save it.
Yeah, and if it's not Alpha, it's K-Dop that's arriving, doing so much damage to Top Blokes in this second game. Archie can go long again, desperate defending from Top Blokes, just wanting something to happen. Maybe that's the answer, a demo or two. Haven't seen too many. Archie takes out K-Dop, and it will mean that in the end, he can at least clear cleanly, but there was, again, nobody in front of the ball for Top Blokes, and it comes to nothing. There's only 1 minute and 15 seconds left. They need to get this going quickly.
And that not quite same level of control. Flame, oh wow, actually impressed he was even able to make that save. Fairy Peak maybe a little disappointed with his placement there, but the difference right now really is in the command of that first touch. You can see Alpha, it's smooth as butter out into the middle for K-Dop, and no! What? As Stax would say, golden opportunity, silver platter, bronze finish, K-Dop. Come on, buddy.
It's like I'm in the room with Stax right now.
There we go.
I could not be more excited. He was inspired, Achieves, by the Staxness in your voice.
K-Dop had to redeem himself, and Archie needed to make sure that it got converted. Hit the demo. Let's move on.
Yeah, you never want to disappoint Stax, especially K-Dop. I'm sure that there are many statistics about his goals per shot or whatever, and that's another one to add to the pile. But Vitality come again. Alpha is just pulling strings right now. Fairy Peak with a finish that I think literally anybody watching this right now could have scored because of the genius of Alpha.
Oh, and Cassio.
And that from Cassio.
Unlucky. He actually played it pretty good. He was like 98% of the way to making the right defensive approach, and then it's just the slight positioning where he's out in front of that wall instead of on it or coming off it, that he just tips it straight down. And Vitality, again, they play a tight game for a long portion of it, and then just bang, out in front by 2 or 3, or let's make it 4 now. Fairy Peak with, I think he pinched it off the side here. It was close.
Let's see.
Challenged.
Yeah, it was a challenge. He read where Cassio was putting that one. 4 goals the difference now. Another clean win for Team Vitality, and you're completely right, Achieves. They're not trying to overdo anything. I think this is the play style they were trying to achieve when they were up against Galaxy Racer yesterday, a series that they lost 4-3. And I was watching that one, and I was screaming at them, thinking, attack the ball more, go faster, you've got so much more pace to burn. And I think the reason that they held their nerve is that they know that when this controlled play style does work, this is what can happen. Against a great team like Top Blokes, they're not giving them anything. Yeah. They're not risking anything they don't have to. But they're taking them apart. That was almost a stunner to end it. But it is a stunning game for Team Vitality.
It's really like watching the boa constrictor, right? You kind of have Vitality, they tie it up, and it's trying to wrangle the snake at first. And you're like, all right, we got them. We're Top Blokes, they're boxed in, and then, of course, Alpha 54 finds some kind of weird way to just worm himself out, and then they just start wrapping themselves around and they just squeeze you until you crack. And that's what leads to this big win for Vitality in terms of score differential. And that's a very well played game. I mean, you can't fault much from Top Blokes. You really just did get outplayed.
Yeah, is it a snake? Is it a worm? It's Team Vitality, and they are just going to wrap themselves around you, as you say there, Achieves. Archie has just left and rejoined, presumably a car change. So something slightly off for Top Blokes. Do you think that can change anything?
Well, Top Blokes, I started touching on it in the middle of that one. It was all about that command of that first touch, because Alpha had great control, and that's why he's able to work his way out. And when you see Top Blokes, be it anyone on there, Cassio, Flame, Archie, didn't make a difference. When they had that opportunity to get their own chance to break out, they kind of misexecuted it. And that's really what you want to see change, because you have to find a way to equalize that pressure, because it's not like Top Blokes never had a chance to find a transition out of their own half. It just came down to how they hit the ball.
Yeah, well, remember, the Top Blokes have taken the lead in both games as well, and Vitality held their nerve on each occasion. My prediction, Achieves, is that at 4 minutes and 16 seconds is when Top Blokes are going to score their first one. So if that is right, then I don't know what to say. I will just be in awe of this team and their consistency. But right now, Vitality being the more consistent in their approach. It's very big. He's pre-jumping. They're having fun, and they have so much belief right now.
Oh, they're pretty close to 16, but Alpha's not going to be able to squeeze that one in. And big disaster here for Vitality, and thankfully nobody actually in position to pressure from Top Blokes and let Fairy Peak just by a few precious seconds.
A reminder that if Vitality can win this series, and that is looking increasingly likely, they will win their group. So a huge prize to go into the knockout gauntlet in that upper bracket with all your lives intact.
Oh, man, that's so unlucky there, watching that from Flame's perspective, because that ball kind of just dropped down into the corner, and he wasn't facing the right way. He already had teammates headed out that position and didn't really feel like he could get aggressive, and then suddenly ball just gets smashed over your head. I mean, it's pretty much right at him, but it's so quick because it's so close, you just don't have the time to react to it.
The way the Top Blokes were playing in game one was justifiable. They were easing their way into the series. It wasn't their fastest, but it was at least a start. Since then, though, Vitality have improved so much, and Top Blokes in this game just haven't. And now look how easy they're making it look.
And that's a great understanding, one from Alpha 54, to pull off that ball, let it bounce, because he knows he's got the space, because K-Dop just said he was going for the demo. So you know nobody's going to come out of the net and take that chance away, and that's just some great understanding, because there's no way they communicate it, right? It's just you see it happen, and did that ping off K-Dop's car?
Yeah, it came in off somebody. There was definitely a huge deflection. I thought that Vitality had got away with it again after that brilliant pass from Flame. And then, it was K-Dop redirecting it when his teammate had it. Now, Achieves, does that inspire the Top Blokes? We know they're capable of so much more. That's maybe what they need.
Well, you like the approach, right? It's that takeaway touch off the backboard that's the difference maker, right? And they know that they can get that. Does it inspire them? Tough to say. You still got a long way to go before you can feel really good, but it definitely puts you in the mindset of we're not out of it. We just got to keep going.
Yeah, step one is keeping the ball in the Vitality half for more than 15 seconds at a time, and they've achieved that in this attack. That could be going in, but Alpha rose quickly. Archie closing it down along the wall. It's Cassio that's going to take over from Flame. We know what he's capable of when he has a bit of control on the ball, how he can bring his teammates into it via a deflection off Fairy Peak. He tries to bring Flame into that one, but Alpha can take it away, and we all know where this ball is ending up. It's back in the Top Blokes half. I didn't even need to wait and see. We just knew he was getting that flip reset.
You beat one, but quickly the follow-through challenge is there, and how about another float from Alpha coming the opposite direction on the ball, but Top Blokes unwilling to give ground so far.
They almost got a reverse sweep yesterday against Endpoint, did the Top Blokes. They were 2-0 down and looking dead and buried, and they managed to at least take it to a fifth game, which they then lost. So we know they do still have that fight. They're just starting to show it now. Seem to have sped up proceedings a tad. Archie's playing with a bit more style and confidence, getting these 50-50 challenges. Cassio almost scores. Archie tries to pass to Flame, and Flame has to retreat because he wasn't expecting it. But another chance approaches for Top Blokes.
Unlucky for Flame, but they were able to retain possession. A smart back pass, and Archie lifts one towards the wall. Flame right down the middle. Fairy Peak just going to kiss that out into the corner, and everything going to slow down for a moment here and get trapped in the corner probably.
Yeah, but they actually have boost achieves. They actually have players in front of the ball willing to make runs, looking for those big clearances. But again, every time Alpha gets it, it just takes away all that momentum. Top Blokes are trapped temporarily, but since getting that goal, they've been the better team.
Absolutely. It's been a great press here. Even if it hasn't resulted in a second goal, they're definitely putting the pressure to Vitality. Chance for Flame off the bar. Cassio follow through. Fairy Peak again coming across the net.
And Vitality will always rely on their goal line clearances. Top Blokes are going to have to come again. Fairy Peak opts to boom this one, asking a question of Flame. How good is his pass out wide to Cassio? Not quite good enough of Alpha closing there, but that's so much better from Archie. He's really up for the pace. Oh, and there's a miss and a mistake, and Cassio equalizes. Top Blokes right back in it.
Now that's what you need. Vitality might be a good team, but nobody in Rocket League is perfect. Even Fairy Peak slightly misreads one, undercuts the ball, and right there to punish him is Cassio. Top Blokes put themselves on level footing.
For the first time in this series, we approach the end game of A game, with Top Blokes asking questions of Team Vitality. Do Vitality step up, or do Top Blokes continue to build upon this themselves? Archie's going to try and block out K-Dop, but K-Dop nips it past him. One touch past Cassio to completely open up the Top Blokes defense, but Cassio does so well to almost get a pass out wide. And this is looking more even now for these two teams. Next goal could well take this. Oh no, another miss from Fairy Peak. A few mistakes from Vitality, then Demo's raining in from Archie as well. Flames can get this flip reset. What will it lead to? Archie's coming in, but two Vitality players close him down. Now Alpha, he could win it now. Instead he passes, I think. It's an attempt to set up K-Dop, but Cassio saw it coming.
When Fairy Peak, really not your ideal situation where you're kind of forced to float it back into the corner, but he actually got that ball in pretty good position for Alpha. And Vitality again through, you know, a little bit of improvisation and Archie shooting it right at them, are going to find another clear.
I'd love to see a montage of Vitality goal line clearing with at least two players going for the ball and still getting away with it. It's remarkable consistency, and maybe Fairy Peak's trying these phase, because he's missed a few. We're approaching potentially the first overtime in this series, unless something crazy happens here. It's not going to. Top Blokes are giving themselves a chance at surviving.
Still looking good. They haven't really let off the gas since they equalized, like you said. Even towards the end of that game, Vitality trying to break out, and they may start to finally be getting their head wrapped around how to stop those transitions.
Fairy Peak has missed a few, but I'm sure he won't miss this one, and Alpha is just lingering underneath it, waiting to see how good Fairy Peak's challenge gain is. It is pretty darn good in that Batmobile. Okay, let's going to challenge this with no boost.
Just approach that challenge, and you can actually see him lean the car back because he knows he can't afford to drive it into the defense. They need to hit it into him to stalemate it. K-Dop, run away off the post. Second chance. Flame? How? Oh, what happened?
Oh, confusion. Tis confusion. Flame just didn't know what to do.
Oh, and a nasty kick. Oh, it's the kick off the post. He thought it was going to go straight back out, and it kicked across the net. Oh, man.
Oh, that really hurt. Oh, that really hurt. Flame was in such a horrible position. It's as soon as that touch from Fairy Peak comes in, Flame is just thinking, what do I do? And then
it's like, it's bad, but it's not a disaster, right? And then it's the bounce across. It's like, now I've done it. Great.
Oh my goodness. So the Top Blokes fight runs out at the end. Well played Vitality, it has to be said. They were looking more like their old selves in that series.
Yeah, games 1 and 2, quintessential. I mean, nothing too risky, but still there to drive that hammer there when you really needed that final push, and they delivered in that aspect on many regards. Great transition game. Top Blokes fighting back, made it a good one in that final one, but I hesitate to even call that a mistake from Flame, right? I mean, sure, he's positioned a little far forward, but it's a chance for a challenge. Who knows what happens? And then, you know, it's just a great poke through from Vitality, and sometimes you get played.
Yeah, it just looked so awkward. You got to feel sorry for him though. But that is, I believe, Group D done and dusted, with Team Vitality making sure they win it. I'm pretty sure that Galaxy Racer go through in the top 2 as well to the knockout gauntlet. But there's so much more Rocket League to play, so make sure you're back after this break.